Raquel Flores. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to you, Raquel. How are you this lovely morning?
Good morning, Antonio. I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm great, and thank you for asking. So, today we
Wonderful.
have a lovely topic kindness. And everyone should be kind to everyone despite differences, despite anything. We have three awesome bullet point topics that we would like to delve into. One is be kind to oneself. Second, being kind to others. And third, respecting people's differences. Be kind to oneself, Raquel. Does that mean to you?
Oh my goodness, that is quite a loaded question, Antonio. But absolutely, whenever you want to start being kind or issue kindness, of how do you show kindness? Well, eventually we have to start from the source. So that if you have to start from your within you. How do you show kindness to yourself? You know, it can take various forms. It could be in the form of you possibly exercising, just starting to eat better, starting to meditate, just starting to do things for yourself that you're showing kindness and you're being, grateful, showing gratitude to yourself. Your body is a machine after all, and whatever you put into it, you're going to get out. So you have to treat it in a kind manner. And so, starting a great diet, being healthy, then incorporating some sort of exercise or physical activity, depending on your limitations, and then also doing the mental. I think those three aspects are very important for a holistic wellness approach in health and being kind to yourself. What do you think about that? I know you talk about mental health a lot, Antonio.
Yes, your mental health is most important because if it is our mental health is not good, then after we cannot treat other people good and ourselves, we don't know how to go about our day. We may be in a dilemma, we may be in challenging situations that we don't know how to come out of it. And the hurtful part about it, being a man, sometimes we don't know who that we could speak to because Raquel, could a man lean on a man and cry on his shoulder? It may sound normal to women, but to other men, it might be something that, you know, they find that depriving their masculinity. And that
Right.
is something that men, don't necessarily have that support. It's very difficult for men to be able to communicate with someone in their own sex. And that is something that we are seeing where we have to be kind, despite that, you know, some person might find that what you're going through, you should be able to be stronger than that. But not everybody is strong. Remember, we are human beings, we are emotional, and we subject to change and we subject to being feeling depressed at times go by. Why it is that you feel it have this term called midlife
Mhm.
crisis. Everyone go through this some point of in their life. So it's most important if we want to be kind and we want to love ourselves, our mental health awareness should always be reflecting and seeing how well we are doing. Sometimes we could, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, we could self reflect as to if we think, you know, things going good with us or the challenges that we face. If it is that we
Mhm.
was able to do the right thing, by trying to overcome it, or that we did something badly to someone or to ourselves. So self-reflecting is most important so we could know how to go forward from there.
Absolutely. I think that you hit the nail right on the head because a lot of people do not do that, that self-reflection and they don't analyze, okay, so what I do today, what did I accomplish this week? Did I do okay? Was I kind? One of my questions is always, I don't want to disrespect anyone. I want to be as courteous as possible because that's what I am about. I live and breathe that. But there comes to a point though where you have to probably set some boundaries. I know boundaries are very gray line areas and topics, right? But even a kind person has to set boundaries. I lead with kindness. I love when people do the same because back then, I wish I would have had that. I wish somebody would have been there for me whenever I was going through my own situations. So I try to be present for other people. I just think that it's essential. It's part of my innate and my nature. But going back to the topic of being kind to oneself,
Hmm.
you have to find ways to nourish, to nurture yourself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup, can you? They
Yes.
always say this. So if you don't take time to be kind to your own self, mentally, physically, how are you supposed to go out there and help others? I think that's one of the most important and essential things. We have to stop for a moment and reevaluate and reflect on
Yes.
that.
Correct, definitely. And self reflect, slash reevaluate, and then know to ourselves what will be the solution to our problems. Sometimes we
Mhm.
may find a solution, it may not work, but we may have to go and find another solution. And once it is that we find the issue to our problems, then after we should be in a much better place. Well, this morning, this topic kind of seems like it's um, hitting everyone because we have like about 30 people on the live right now and so many people who are
Wonderful.
saying hi. So that's would like to shout out um,
Sure. Yes,
everyone, right?
I love it. Okay, where are they? Oh,
So,
Dr. Pesman. Okay. Hello.
hi Ahmed, good morning, good afternoon to you, according to your time zone. Hi
Hello.
Mute,
It's just so wonderful. I love seeing people just tuning in.
hmm
I know it's different times. It's 5 a.m. here where I'm at, and it's wonderful. So just so y'all see, oh, the
yeah.
Happy Children Ministry. Hello. Hugs to you all. Oh, it's beautiful. Hello.
Please state where you all are looking from. Hi
Yay.
also Chuma Tatu.
Jumatatu. This
Yeah,
is perfect. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love seeing, we love to hear from everybody around the globe. I'm always curious to see where everybody's plugging in from. Hello, Mukhtar from Pakistan. That's beautiful. She say, fam, Black
Kareem
American in Asia.
watching you
Okay.
guys from the Philippines. All right, Philippines.
Okay, there you go. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. And again, we're talking about kindness and why kindness matter. Oh, we have Mr. Victor Rivera. Hola, buenos dias. Good morning. Yes, and it's such an important topic to talk about. A lot of people may not really talk about this every day, but it's one of those things that we need to stop to just think about it. Like, okay, what can I do? How can I inject a little kindness into my life so that I can be able to help myself, but in the process also equip myself with tools to help others? Because again, I guess this lends itself to the second topic of the day, which is how do we support one another? Why is it so
Yes,
important? What do you think about that, Antonio?
I think we all need that support system because without that support system, we will see our mental health being crushed. When it is like, for me, example, being a guy, when we watch globally, it's two-thirds of the population in terms of men that are committing suicide. So
Mm,
my question is why it is that that is happening. When we watch men, they're supposed to be the father figures of the household, the head of the household, and due to the pandemic, we know a lot of people was retrenched in terms of jobs. Revenue was not coming in the way it's supposed to. So, being a man, I could speak on my behalf, and then you could speak on your behalf, being a woman, Raquel. It's a lot of pressure on a man, and it falls back to what I was saying from before that men don't have that support because sometimes men may not have that great communication with their spouse or significant other that they don't know who to speak with. I was on a live yesterday, right, where um, it had this guy, he was speaking and he was saying that he lost a lot of income, due to the pandemic. And because of his
mm,
supportive wife, he was able to overcome, wrote a book, and he earned a lot from that book. And it's just to show that if it is that we don't have that support system, our support system is supposed to be our significant other. Like for some women, not trying to knock anyone, but some women
mm,
tend to look, consult with other women about their issues when they're supposed to consult with their spouse. Because if that's the person that you with most of the times, if that's the person that you married, and if that's the person that you want to spend the eternity with, then after that is the person that you have to consult with. So if it is that we don't have that significant other to consult with, or we don't have that person or group of like-minded mastermind persons, as Krista mentioned, because she talks about mastermind in a big way, which is something really awesome, because you
Mm,
want people who like-minded like you to be on the same path with you. Because if it is someone is only negative, then after what you feel will come out of that negativity. But if someone around you is positive, is only positive things will surround your circle. So at the end of the day, the whole idea is that when it is that we focus on problems, we will get problems. And when we focus on positive things, we will get great opportunities. And
oh
that's
my
it for
gosh.
me here, Raquel. So let me hear about you with being kind
Yeah.
to others.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up. Krista is amazing at what she does, and I love the work that she does, for helping
Definitely.
people and uplift one another. I know she specifically focused like on women, but I'm so happy that
Hmm.
she had you on and you were able to speak about those, issues affecting men, because you're right. It's not talked about as often because it's seen as a weakness, but it's important. It's imperative for men to have that support system in order to combat and overcome those challenges that they may face. And yes, absolutely. As from a woman's standpoint, we go through so many different things on dailies, and yes, as Arandu is mentioning, depression, many factors, absolutely, they that affect our daily lives and that affect our pretty much our performance with everything that we're doing. I can speak on my behalf. Being a single parent, it's not easy. It's not an easy task, and I know I'm not the first, and I'm not the last one who's going to go through that. There are a lot of single moms and a lot of single men.
Hmm.
Lately, there's a lot of single men who are out there doing the best that they can for their kids, prioritizing their kids as well. But that usually leaves one behind, right? Because I know that's how it is for me. I gotta make sure that my kids have what they need, the essentials and necessities, the basics, right? But that usually leaves me and stretches me thin, where it leaves me worn out, mentally, physically. But at the end of the day, you have to, like Victor says, you have to stay positive. You have to learn how to have measures and ways for you to let out that stress, ways to build that support system. Even if you don't have someone around you, you have the only person you have to count on is honestly is on you. And sometimes I know that's
So
hard.
true.
It's easier said than done. Absolutely, I've been there, done that. I'm sure all of us have gone through that. But at the end of the day, you have to develop a, a system that works for you, a system that you can always fall back on whenever hey, I'm coming to one of those, downward spirals. And it's just important. It's important to have that foundation. I think that's the word that was going, foundation. But for me, as a woman, we're juggling 7,000 things everywhere,
Hmm.
every single day. And we tend to forget that we need to rely and we need to build our tribe. If you don't have access to that, then you really need to have a solid foundation that you can always refer back to remind you, hey, you need to ground yourself, you need to take a breather, you need to take time for yourself, in order to be able to continue serving, right? Continue being the best that you can be, top tier level, performing every single day. It's like I call myself an athlete because I know I'm performing every single day. So I have to show up, right? I have to show up. No choice. I have no replacement. So I have to show up. But just in that same emotion, I have to make sure that I take care of myself and invest the time to do so. I think it's extremely important, Antonio. So like I
Certainly.
know you take care of what you eat. You have an exercise routine. Like you do that and you
Mhm.
prioritize that, right? Because you know that's important in the type of work that you do. Correct?
Definitely. And exercising is something that, men and women should do at least 3 or 4 times for the week, because when it is that we have that stress level, when it is that we feeling depressed, we feeling down, the great way to alleviate that is by exercising.
Mhm.
Fight that battles by exercising. Push yourself more, and you feel great after, and you are able to push yourself throughout the day at a longer time frame. So if it is that you used to work 8 hours in terms of entrepreneurship, or in terms of a company, you could push yourself 10, 12 hours and go to the max, and you end up focusing, your senses become more aware because you are more healthy. Because what people don't understand is that exercising is like 40% of your health, and eating right is 60%.
Mhm.
So some people may exercise, right, and they may not eat well, and they may not look clean, meaning that they may have a big stomach and they may have great arms, but they're not eating well. So that's why you are seeing the big stomach. So if it is that you have that right balance, then after everything will fall in place, and it falls back to life. If we don't have a balance in life, how could we exceed, our potential? Because you can be great at what you're doing in terms of your profession or your career, but then after in your
Mhm.
family life, there are many quarrels with your spouse, with your children. So when it is now you take that negativity and you bring it to work, despite that you are good at what you're doing, it will have a time that you will see that your work is starting to dip, and you are not being able
Mhm.
to serve your customers the way that you would like to serve. So that is something that in life we should have that balance. If we don't have that balance, eventually we will dip. We will realize that we are not
Yeah.
serving our community, our audience, and they are not realize what is going on with you, but they may not know about their family life. But they will realize that, hey, this person may be getting a bit too salesy. They are just not delivering that value anymore. Everything is maybe basically, come do something short and then after go, but not realizing is their family life issues affecting their day-to-day opportunity, their career going forward. So if it is we don't have that balance, then after we basically don't have anything.
Yeah, I mean, balance is so important, Antonio. And I think that it's one of the most important things, the hardest things to achieve. That work home life balance. It's just I've seen it more prevalent now that it's becoming more difficult to attain it post pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, oh my gosh, like I just started hearing left and right. I'm in the healthcare field, but I worked specifically with the elderly. But you started seeing how it affected the elderly. You start tracing back how it affect the kids of the elderly. Their
Hmm.
sons, the daughters, all the stress that they had to go through, whether it was the loss of a job, whether it was the loss of a relative, due to COVID, or just the overall impact, the fear, because it's just like you're living in fear going out there, and you're like, okay,
Hmm.
what about if I catch it? So it's just that you're always stressful. It's like you're stressing about it. Your anxiety level is just up the roof, through the roof, and then you go back and you see through the next generation, their grandkids, the elderly's grandkids, how it's affecting them at school, how it's affecting their home life. So I've seen a rise in a lot of midlife crisis. I know you just mentioned that earlier with, post pandemic. A lot of people are not the same that who they were before the pandemic.
So true.
This pandemic has come and changed and literally done like a lot of it's like rampant mental illnesses that are coming forward now that before they were there, but they were hidden or they just didn't talk about them. But now it's very prevalent, and it's alarming, to be honest with you, especially like with PTSD, like earlier, viewer was saying. It's important. There's all sorts of PTSD, but we just don't talk about them, right? And
Hmm.
this leads to all those crises. A lot of women are having a lot of crises. A lot of men, I've heard, are having a lot of crises. Now it's not even midlife crisis. It's like anytime crisis. It could happen, right? That you're hearing that.
Yeah, definitely. It's taken a toll on us, and so what they don't understand is that right now is not about how COVID has subsided in terms of cases, but is the aftermath effect, where
Hmm.
sometimes we take 5 to 10 years to recover, economically and also mentally. And the height of the pandemic is not where we face the challenge, is right now where we are facing most of the challenges, because not much people can come back, and some people are still distraught in terms of the amount of deaths that occurred, their loved ones, some people, their parents, their spouse died. So that is something that it will be very difficult to come out from, and some people don't understand that. So despite that, COVID cases has been lessened, right? And we may say that it reached the endemic stage, but a lot of people are going through that distraught from
Hmm.
the height of the pandemic and so many things that occurred. And some people, they can't even gain back what they had. Some people had maybe 4 or 5 businesses and they are down to naught, or some may down to one or two. And to build back that after you built that for so many years, it's very unrealistic. It could happen, because I wouldn't say, it will not happen, but it's very difficult to build back that. And sometimes you're not in the right mindset to
Hmm.
go forward. So each day, you're living in that uncertainty. You don't know what tomorrow will bring you. You're living in that fear. And fear is something that it really kills. And it's very challenging times that we're in right now. And I think that that support system is really needed, where I think
Right.
people need that day-to-day support, not just like checking up once a week or once a month, because within one day, somebody mental state could go down drastically, that they could do something that, we will never think possible that they could do.
Absolutely, and again, it's super important. Bringing it back to to the topic that we're talking about, kindness. How is it that we can be kind to one another? How is it, it could just start because people just freeze there and like, well, I don't know how to be kind, and I'm like, yeah, you do. You just don't have, you don't have that mentality. You don't have that muscle exercise as we're talking about how many people are going through so many things, all the internal battles that they're fighting that we may not even know, and externally they don't show it, right? But
Hmm.
you may not know that by you just saying good morning, offering a smile, if it's at the office, you can be saving a life. You could potentially be saving a life because you made that person feel seen. You made that person feel heard. And it's important to at least exercise those basic types of kindness that we can exude. Smile, a simple smile. Because
Simple.
yeah, sometimes people ask me, Raquel, well, I don't know how to be kind. And I'm like, yes, you do. You just don't think you're being kind, right? A simple smile. I mean, literally, just smile today. Go out there and just smile at a stranger. Not to be creepy or anything, but just smile in a natural way. Open the door for somebody. You hear that so often, right? But you just don't realize that that sets up, like a little chain. That person may want to pay it forward. I just think that's so important nowadays that you you walk the talk, right? I can tell you
Hmm.
here the entire day. I can say, oh, go around smiling, go around, opening doors. But if I don't practice it in my life, then how would I be a role model for you? So that's why it's super important to exude that every single day, if that's what you're about, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what's in your heart. And if that's what you are, like for me, honestly, right now, it's just one of those things. I was bullied when I was younger. I was bullied for many reasons that I talk about in my upcoming book. But I wouldn't want my kids to go through that. I wouldn't want anybody else's kids to go through that because it's traumatizing. Luckily, I've come to a point in my life where I've internalized it, but I'm using it in a positive way because I just think that it needs to shed light, right? So that we can talk about these things and that we can help prevent happening them, or at least so that they're not as prevalent, right? So I
Hmm.
just think it's important to just start talking about these things. Talk to your neighbor, talk to your coworkers, talk to people around you, say hi. That's the simplest way you can, show kindness, or you can practice kindness on a daily basis. I know not everybody is going to be open to that idea. Not everybody's going to be like, oh, this is so, cliche, or I'd rather wake up and be grumpy every day. Have you gotten one of those people? Because I know many of those people.
Many, many, because on this awesome platform, despite that it might be a professional platform, it
Mm.
have people who are not kind. And what I tend to do is just leave them alone. Sometimes you get some messages, it may not be the best. Sometimes you message someone, they may not respond in a kind manner. But I say that at the end of the day, they always come back, because once it is that you know to yourself, you are professionally developing yourselves, sometimes these same people see what you are doing and they come back right in your inbox and they want to be kind with you. No, that is not the way how you treat people. And some people, they don't know how to go about being kind, and I think it's a very awesome opportunity to have that one-on-one with you, Raquel, on being kind, because in this world right now, we are living in a world that human beings are selfish, and it's very hard to come out of that selfish mentality that they have. I think someone needs that one-on-one guidance to show them why it is that they should be kind and what it is that you reap when you're being kind. And anyone who would like, a one-on-one session or with Raquel on kindness, please do reach out. Say in the comment section you would like that one-on-one with Raquel, and basically she'll reach out to you, and you all will work out a time and have a one-on-one on the topic kindness.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that.
You're welcome.
I just feel like that is so important that nowadays people they don't know again. They naturally just don't know how to be kind. So I always like to talk to them. I always like to get to know them. And so for the session today, I'm definitely offering a free coaching session, and
Hmm.
to a person in the audience or to one of our viewers. And so I will reach out to them and schedule the the session with them. I like to give back. I like to give, pay it forward, because I just think it's so important, again, because I'm helping another human being. I'm supporting and uplifting. I don't know what they may be going through, but I just think it's important to reach out to one another, letting them know, hey, I see you, I hear you. Let's see how we can work together and make this place a better world, because at the end of the day, that's what we want, right, Antonio? We want
So
a
true.
better place for ourselves, a better surrounding for our kids, for our family. We want to enjoy this world, so why not work to make it a little bit better every day?
I agree 100%. And respecting people's differences, that is something that we have to do, because not everybody will agree on the same topic with us. Not everyone will like us. Not everyone may want to work with us. But so be it. Everyone have the differences. Everybody have their own choice, freedom of speech, freedom of who they communicate with. So we have to respect that and just move on. So some people may think this person do not like me for whatever reason, and they may want to have a hatred on them. No, don't do that. Just leave them alone and just move on. It have so many people in the world that we could communicate with, so many businesses that we could reach out to. We are living in a world that it's not limited anymore. Technology has changed the world where we can communicate with people all over the world. So look what we're doing right now. We're actually having a
Hmm.
live session. People is in the chat, they are commenting, they are seeing us, they love the video, they love the topic, and just be you, be authentic, and just keep on smiling.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is like a way for us to also give back, Antonio. This is
Hmm.
a kindness act on our behalf, because we know we're going to be reaching out to some people, even if they're not on the live right now, but they can replay it, right? They can watch this at a later time, and they can get the message that we're trying to disseminate into the entire world. Like, you can be kind. There is a way for you to be kind, and there's a way for you to start making small changes within your life. They're not going to kill you. They're not going to torture you, and you're going to feel better at the end of the day. That's going to lead for you to leave to live a better life, a better quality life. Because I've come to the point, Antonio, where I started questioning my purpose on this world. I really did. And again, it was one of those feelings that I had, that I had a higher purpose on this world. So, what is the higher purpose that I had? I've slowly been finding it and tuning to it. And I think one of those is just educate and spread this message of kindness. Because it's so it's so underused. And honest to God, like, it
Hmm.
really is. It's something that everybody can easily do. We all have skills at it, but we just don't do it. We don't use that. So it's one of those things that I'm like, okay, I'm here. We're gonna do it together, so we can create a better world. That's important for our mental, for physical health, and just for the health of everybody around our community. Because once we start making small changes within us, we can affect our community, and then we can affect countries and then the world. It's a mentality, it's a mindset. So I just think it's important to be covering this aspect every single day, every single week, like we're going to be doing, right?
Hmm.
And
So every
yeah,
Monday, yeah, every Monday at 6 a.m. EST time. And what is your time zone, Raquel?
so sorry, every
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
sorry,
yes,
Tuesday.
Tuesday at, it's my time zone is 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, so CST Chicago time. So y'all see how much I love you all. I wake up super extra early to make sure that I make this, but because it's important and I see it as a priority to be able to give back to the community.
Definitely. And you are the kindest Latina. And thank
Yes.
you, thank you everyone for watching our live. Those who on the replay, thanks. Once you watching on the replay, just please put hashtag team replay. So we will know that that's you on the replay, and we will respond to everyone messages in the comment section, and look forward to us next week, Tuesday, 7 a.m. EST and 6 a.m. your time zone, Raquel.
No.
Yes,
And then I will be reaching out to the lucky viewer who gets a free coaching session with me.
awesome. All right, so thank you and do have a great day. And most importantly, be safe and have a productive one.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.